So this video is about multiplying and dividing integers. So we have some basic rules we need to follow when we're multiplying or dividing integers. So with multiplication, our rules are a positive times a positive will always yield a positive answer. A positive times a negative will give you a negative answer. And a negative times a negative will give you a positive answer. We're looking at these here. Okay, and then same idea for division rules. If I have a positive times a positive, that will also give me a positive answer. If I have a positive divided by a negative, I will get a negative answer. And if I have a negative divided by a negative, I will get a positive result. So let's look at some examples. So say I have something like 4 times negative 2. So I have a positive, the 4 is a positive number here, and this is a negative number. So I have a positive times a negative, so I know my answer will be a negative, and then I just multiply 4 times 2, which is 8, so my answer is negative 8. Usually at this point we'll drop the multiplication sign, so we won't be using the x anymore. So anytime you see something like this, in the second example, this means multiplication, so it reads as 5 times negative 8. Again, I have a positive number, the 5 is positive, times a negative number, the 8 is negative. So positive times a negative will give me a negative result, and 5 times 8 is 40. In the next one, I have a negative times a negative, so I know that will give me a positive answer. And 6 times 4 is 24, so I get positive 24, or I can just write 24. So it's preferred to just write, if you have a positive integer or a positive number, to leave out the plus sign. And then the last example, I have negative 9 times 5. So again, a negative times a positive number, so my answer will be negative. And 9 times 5 is 45, so my answer is negative 45. And let's see some examples now with division. So I have to follow the same kind of rules. So I have 28 divided by negative 7. So I have a positive number, the 28 is positive, divided by negative 7. So a positive divided by a negative will give me a negative result, and 28 divided by 7 is 4. Okay, in the next one I have negative 42 divided by 6. Again, at this point we'll probably drop the division symbol and be using something more that looks like a fraction. So negative divided by a positive, I have negative 42 and positive 6, so I know my answer will be a negative. 42 divided by 6 is 7, so my answer is negative 7. In the third example, I have a negative divided by a negative, so I know my answer will be positive, and 21 divided by 7 is 3, so it's positive 3, or again, I would just write 3 without the plus sign. And then in my last example, I have a positive divided by a positive, 25 divided by positive 25 divided by positive 5, so my answer, of course, will be positive, and it'll be positive 5. That's it. Good luck with the assignments.